until you make the unconscious conscious. It will direct your life, and you will call it fate. You walk through your day believing you are in control. Every decision feels deliberate, every step intentional. But beneath the surface, there is a battlefield you cannot see. Your ego stands armored, sharp-edged and proud, declaring mastery over your thoughts, your desires, your choices. And yet, in the shadows, something older, darker, and far more cunning moves. It whispers in your silences. It nudges you in moments of weakness. It laughs softly when you believe you are free. This is the war you never agreed to fight, but one that has already begun. The ego and the shadow wrestle for dominance, and every moment of your life is a skirmish on this invisible battlefield. You feel the tension in your chest, the subtle pull of unrecognized fears, the quiet surge of impulses you cannot name. Every morning you wake, every conversation you enter, every longing you chase. They are all affected, shaped, guided by forces you cannot yet see. You tell yourself you are making choices. You plan, you strategize, you calculate, and yet, how often have you been blindsided by anger, jealousy, or doubt? How often have you felt compelled to act, only to look back and realize the decision was not yours, but the echo of a childhood wound, a forgotten trauma, a fear buried deep beneath the polished surface of your ego? You believe you are free, yet invisible chains tug at your mind. The ego, so desperate to appear in control, masks the puppeteer pulling your strings. Every longing for love, every craving for approval, every anxious hesitation, it is orchestrated by ghosts of past pain you never faced. You navigate your world thinking you hold the map, but the roads are drawn by hidden hands. You are convinced you are safe, guided, competent, but the shadow has been writing your script behind the scenes. And here lies the most painful truth. The shadow is not outside. It is not a distant enemy. It is you, parts of yourself you refuse to acknowledge, wounds you hide in silence, instincts you deny. It shapes your desires before you even recognize them. It thrives in the cracks of your certainty. Like a puppeteer behind a velvet curtain, it moves unseen, controlling the dance of your emotions, the rhythm of your choices. Every mirror you pass reflects not only your face, but fragments of this hidden self, waiting, watching, learning. You feel unease in moments of quiet because the shadow is present. You feel sudden panic, rage, or despair, and you wonder why, only to discover that these are not random. They are the shadow making its presence known, demanding recognition. Every hesitation, every fear, every hidden shame is a signal that you are not as free as you believe. The battle is raging inside, silent, relentless, unavoidable. This is not a story of doom. It is a call to awaken, to see the battlefield clearly, to understand that the struggles you feel are not meaningless. They are messages, warnings, and invitations. They are the first signs that the shadow exists, that the war is real, and that only through recognition can you reclaim true agency. You are standing at the edge of self-awareness, at the threshold of understanding that nothing in your life has been entirely outside influence. And yet, in that awareness, there is power. In seeing the shadow, you see the truth. You see yourself. You are the battlefield and the warrior. Face your shadow and claim your life. People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls. You spend your life chasing comfort, the soft cushions of routine, the carefully curated schedules, the small certainties that whisper, "I am safe here." You tell yourself this is freedom, that security is the ultimate goal. But look closer. Every comfort you cling to is a mask. Behind every cozy habit, behind every minor pleasure, there is fear. A fear of facing yourself, of confronting the emptiness that lurks beneath. The coffee you drink at the same hour every morning, the apps you scroll endlessly, the endless consumption of noise and distraction, they are all anesthetics. They keep you numb from the gnawing awareness that something inside is unresolved, something raw and alive. You are not free. You are a guest in a prison of your own making, a castle built around the fear of yourself. The more you seek comfort, the more the shadow thrives in the dark corners you refuse to enter. You may feel satisfaction for a moment, a fleeting sense of ease, but it is always temporary, always borrowed from a debt you have not yet paid to your own psyche. Then there is love, the love you seek, the love you crave, the love you believe will make you whole. But how often have you projected your emptiness onto another? How often have you attached yourself to someone because their presence promised to fill the void, to validate your existence? This is not authentic love. This is ego-seeking relief. You fall in love with the reflection of yourself in another's eyes. You chase approval, affection, attention, imagining it will mend your fractures. You hold hands, you whisper words, you believe in connection. But underneath, your shadow watches, knowing it is not true intimacy. The ego clings to the illusion. The shadow grows stronger in silence, feeding off the unrecognized hunger. And when the bond falters, as it always does when built on projection, despair rises, a bitter recognition of the truth. You were never whole before, and no one else can make you whole. Even the illusions that bring brief solace, comfort, love, distraction, carry the shadow's fingerprints. They are mirrors, showing fragments of what you deny, magnifying what you refuse to see. You feel relief in fleeting moments, the warm glow of being wanted, the satisfaction of a routine well maintained. But each fleeting pleasure is a whisper of deception, a siren call that keeps you blind to the depths inside. You may believe you are escaping, but you are merely circling, walking the same patterns your shadow carved long ago. The more you indulge these false refuges, the more the shadow anchors itself in your psyche, growing larger, hungrier, more cunning. You begin to recognize patterns repeating, failed relationships, hollow successes, constant restlessness, but you cannot yet trace them to their true source. The shadow is patient. It is clever. It waits for you to tire, to falter, to finally notice it lurking behind the illusions that once seemed so comforting. This is the turning point. To awaken, to see the truth of these illusions, is to break the cycle. To confront the lies you've told yourself about comfort, about love, about safety, and to face the emptiness that has always been real. Only then can you begin to reclaim what is yours, the raw, unmediated self beneath the layers of deception. Only then does the shadow become visible, no longer a hidden puppeteer, but a teacher demanding recognition and integration. The illusions crumble, and in the silence left behind, you can finally breathe, truly see, and truly choose. You will not be fooled by comfort or charm. You will see yourself, and in seeing, you are free. Until you make the unconscious conscious, It will direct your life, and you will call it fate. You believe you are making choices, that you are free, that your life follows the path you consciously carve. But look closer. Every step, every impulse, every fear has already been shaped long before you recognized it. Your wounds are puppeteers, tugging strings that pull you toward decisions you imagine are yours alone. A childhood rejection, a harsh word whispered in the night, a parent's absence or criticism. These are not past events. They are living currents, running beneath the surface, shaping your fears, your desires, your very identity. You chase success, validation, love, security, yet you often stumble into the same patterns, the same heartbreaks, the same unexplainable choices. The reason is simple. Unseen hands are guiding you. Your shadow feeds on what you deny, what you refuse to acknowledge, and your ego dances to its rhythm, blind to the choreography. Even in moments of apparent clarity, your behavior is pre-scripted by scars you cannot yet name. Every argument that erupts from nowhere, every sudden doubt, every longing for comfort, it is the voice of the wound whispering in the hidden corridors of your psyche. And then there is the shadow itself. It is not a monster waiting outside. It is a subtle, persuasive presence inside you. It speaks in half-formed thoughts, in fleeting impulses, in the uneasy weight that sits behind your decisions. When the ego is distracted, it moves. Anger rises where patience should prevail. Jealousy colors interactions you thought were pure. Fear shapes choices you think are rational. You may rationalize, blame, or distract yourself, but the shadow is always there, shaping your life quietly and relentlessly. Think of moments when you have lashed out, withdrawn, or acted in a way that confused even you. The shadow was speaking then. Its voice is not loud, not always recognizable, but its influence is pervasive. It wants acknowledgement, not suppression, and until you listen, its whispers dictate the rhythm of your life. Every regret, every misstep, every feeling of inexplicable tension is a breadcrumb leading you to what you have refused to see. Your ego resists this recognition fiercely. It wants to preserve the illusion of control. It masks He shadows presence with rationalizations. I am right. They are wrong. It's just circumstance. It projects blame outward. It pretends that anger, fear, or desire originates outside, from the world, not from within. You spend hours justifying behaviors that your unconscious orchestrates. You deny emotions that feel uncomfortable, sweep away impulses that are inconvenient, and yet the shadow watches silently, growing stronger in your denial. Every attempt to ignore it, to suppress it, to rationalize away its presence only tightens its grip. You feel trapped in cycles, relationships that fail, opportunities that slip away, patterns you cannot escape. The more you resist, the louder the shadow becomes, forcing moments of confrontation until you finally recognize that the chaos in your life is not random. It is purposeful, driven by unacknowledged wounds and the parts of yourself you refuse to meet. This confrontation is terrifying. To see the shadow is to see that many of your choices were never entirely your own, that your fears, your compulsions, your impulses have been guided by hidden scars. And yet, in this terror, there is liberation. Recognition of the shadow is the first step toward reclaiming agency. To face the wound, to hear the whispers of the shadow, is to finally step out of the patterns it has long orchestrated. It is to move from being a marionette of past pain to a conscious participant in your own life. The truth is uncomfortable, but it is also empowering. Nothing that moves through you is meaningless. Nothing that guides you is random. By acknowledging your shadow, you transform unseen control into conscious choice. The puppeteer still exists, but now you can negotiate, integrate, and finally, take the reins. You are not a victim of your wounds. You are their witness, their learner, and their master, who looks outside, dreams, who looks inside, awakes. You wake up one morning, and the world feels heavier than it should. The routines that once gave you comfort now feel like chains. The small victories, the carefully constructed persona, the masks you wear, they begin to crack. You try to smile at your colleagues, answer the texts, sip your coffee, but something inside drags at your chest. Even the smallest tasks feel monumental. The ego, which once promised control and competence, struggles to maintain its hold. You notice tension in your shoulders, a hollow ache in your stomach, a quiet panic beneath the surface. Everything that once seemed manageable now appears like a performance, a fragile act of holding yourself together while invisible threads pull at your seams. Your mind whispers, "This is too much. This is too much." Yet you push forward, pretending, performing, living on autopilot. The facade begins to crumble under the relentless pressure of unacknowledged truths. And then the fracture begins, not all at once, but in waves. Pieces of yourself start to separate. Confusion floods your perception. Decisions that once seemed clear now feel impossible. Anger erupts over small slights. Shame rises unbidden, and despair settles like a cold shadow over every thought. You realize you no longer recognize your reflection. The self you trusted, the persona you cultivated, feels foreign. Friends and family notice your distance, your agitation, your sudden withdrawals, but they cannot see the storm within. You are splitting under pressure, pulled in opposing directions by the shadow demanding acknowledgement and the ego desperate to maintain control. Every emotion is magnified. Every memory, every regret, every failure resonates with raw intensity. You may feel trapped, lost in the fragments of who you thought you were, each shard reflecting unspoken fears and hidden isn't. The experience is terrifying and intimate. Your identity is not just questioned, it is dismantled. And then comes the moment of confrontation. Denial, which has protected you for years, fails. The shadow can no longer be ignored, pushed aside, or rationalized away. It speaks in ways that cannot be silenced, through tears, through rage, through the quiet, gnawing emptiness that lingers after everyone has left. The ego stumbles, falters, and finally pauses to face what it has long refused to see. You feel exposed, vulnerable, unarmed against the depth of your own psyche. Every lie you told yourself, every projection, every avoidance comes into sharp focus. And yet, in this confrontation lies a strange clarity. The shadow, which once terrorized from the edges of your consciousness, becomes visible. Recognition brings understanding. You see the patterns, the wounds, the unseen hands that have guided your life. You see not a fractured self, but a self awakening to its complexity. A self that can now choose, integrate, and heal. In the ruins of your old identity, a new awareness begins to rise. You feel the weight of truth, heavy but freeing. You feel the echo of fear, anger, and despair. But you also feel presence, focus, and a flicker of courage. The collapse was necessary. It stripped away illusions, the pretense, the performance. What remains is raw, real, and whole. in a way the ego alone could never achieve. The storm of emotional collapse is not destruction, it is transformation. It is the process by which you reclaim yourself from the shadows that have long dictated your life. The fragments are not lost. They are invitations to rebuild, to integrate, and to step into an authentic self, unafraid of its own depth. You will fall into yourself, but in falling, you will rise completely. People do not love themselves enough to see the truth in others. You look back at key relationships, the connections, the people you clung to, and suddenly, the illusion cracks. The comfort you believed was love was never love at all. It was a reflection of your ego's hunger, an attempt to fill gaps you refused to face within yourself. The laughter, the late-night conversations, the promises whispered in quiet moments, all of it begins to feel like a performance, a carefully orchestrated dance where both partners played roles they did not fully understand. The ego thrives on these illusions, convincing you that validation, attention, or approval from others equals safety, worth, and freedom. You wanted someone to hold your hand through the storm, but you often handed your hand to someone who could not see the storm inside you. Or worse, someone who fed the storm without realizing it. The truth unfolds slowly. Much of what you thought was love was merely a projection, a mirror of your own unmet needs, fears, and desires. Every argument, every disappointment, every betrayal was never entirely theirs. It was the collision of two shadows, two unacknowledged selves, attempting to find solace in a world neither had yet faced honestly. The reality of love begins to emerge when the illusions dissolve. You start to see that many of the people you adored were never intended to complete you. The affection you chased, the attention you craved, the moments you cherished, they were attempts to mend internal voids, attempts to soothe the ego's hunger for recognition and safety. You may feel grief, anger, or disillusionment, but these emotions are proof that you are beginning to perceive clearly. You recognize that you were never truly dependent on others for love. You were dependent on the reflection of yourself in their eyes. This recognition is not to blame. It is clarity. You start to understand that authentic love is not about filling emptiness with another, but about seeing and accepting the shadow within yourself while embracing another without expectation. What once felt like heartbreak transforms into insight. The people who left, the moments that failed, the disappointments that cut deepest, they were not failures. They were lessons, mirrors showing what your ego had mistaken for necessity and revealing the depth of your internal world that had been ignored for far too long. And in that clarity comes a glimmer of choice. You begin to understand that power does not come from holding on. It comes from recognizing patterns, seeing the truth, and deciding consciously how to move forward. You notice moments where you have been reactive, seeking love or validation unconsciously, and you realize you can respond differently now. The shadows that once guided your desire no longer dictate your actions. You can choose whom to love, how to love, and most importantly, that you are enough without anyone else's affirmation. Every recognition of past illusions is a step toward autonomy. The chains of dependency loosen. You see that while the ego will always try to trap you in cycles of projection and attachment, awareness allows you to step aside, breathe, and act with intention. You feel the possibility of freedom, the first spark of authentic choice illuminating the path ahead. It was never theirs to give. It was always yours to reclaim. The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely, You stand in the silence of your own mind, and there it is. The shadow you have feared, avoided, denied. It is not hidden anymore. Anger, jealousy, insecurity, doubt, the echoes of every old wound, they sit before you, patient, unwavering, waiting to be seen. Meeting your shadow is not a polite encounter. It is a confrontation with every part of yourself you have labeled as wrong, ugly, or weak. You feel your heart hammering, your palms damp, a tremor running through your chest. And yet, courage is not the absence of fear. It is stepping forward despite it. You name the truths you have resisted. You whisper, "I see you. I feel you. I will not hide from you." Fear rises, but you breathe through it. Anger erupts, but you do not lash out. Insecurity stares at you, and you hold your gaze. This is the first act of true power, facing what you have long avoided, without shame, without denial, without distraction. The shadow does not recoil. It waits, acknowledging your willingness to witness it. Every emotion, every impulse, every dark corner of your psyche is illuminated by your attention. And in that illumination, something shifts. You are no longer running. The shadow is not a monster to be destroyed. It is a guide to be understood. Every jealousy, every fear, every self-criticism has a reason, a message, a place within the architecture of your mind and soul. Integration does not mean elimination. It means recognition. You begin to see that the shadow has protected you, warned you, shaped you, even in ways that caused pain. It carries the unprocessed parts of your experiences, the lessons you refused to learn, the feelings you thought you could not bear. You start to dialogue with it, not in conflict, but in curiosity and respect. You ask, "Why are you here? What do you want me to understand?" And the answers come, subtle, at first, then louder. Patterns you did not see, motivations you denied, strengths hidden beneath fear. The shadow becomes a teacher, not a tyrant. You realize that rejecting it only made life more chaotic, more painful, more controlled by unconscious forces. Accepting it opens the door to clarity, to self-mastery, to a deeper relationship with who you truly are. And from that acceptance comes power, unlike anything you have known. By embracing the darkness within, you step into the light of authenticity. You no longer react blindly to impulses or external triggers. You respond with awareness. Your relationships shift, not because others change, but because you have changed. Decisions that once felt like storms now feel like rivers you can navigate. Creativity, intuition, empathy, strength, they rise from the parts of you that were once hidden, denied, or shamed. You discover resilience in places you once feared, courage in moments you once avoided, and freedom in spaces where fear once ruled. The shadow, once a secret enemy, now works with you. Every challenge, every doubt, every temptation becomes an opportunity to exercise conscious choice, to embody your values, to move through life as a whole, not fractured self. You see clearly how power and vulnerability are inseparable, how strength comes from embracing all of who you are, and how the shadow is a doorway to transformation rather than a threat. This is not the end of the journey. It is the beginning. Integration is ongoing. You will face your shadow again, in new shapes, in fresh challenges. But each encounter is now an invitation, a chance to strengthen, to deepen, to embody mastery. You have faced the darkness, and it has not defeated you. You have listened, learned, and embraced it. You are whole, not despite the shadow, but because of it. Every step forward carries the weight of wisdom gained, the clarity of self-understanding, and the courage to act from authenticity rather than fear. The power you seek has been within you all along, waiting in the darkness for recognition, waiting to be reclaimed. You meet your shadow, and in that meeting, you rise whole, strong, and free. Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakes. You wake to a stillness you have never known. The storm inside has quieted, not because it has vanished, but because you have met it, acknowledged it, and let it rest within you. There is a new rhythm to your breath, a calm in your movements, a clarity in your mind. The shadows that once whispered doubts, stoked fears, and twisted desires now sit beside you, recognized and understood. This is quiet mastery, a serenity born not from escape, but from confrontation. You have discovered that peace is not the absence of struggle, but the ability to stand firm in the midst of it. Everyday life is no longer a battlefield where your ego fights hidden forces it cannot name. It is a garden where awareness tends the soil of your mind, and every choice is watered by consciousness rather than fear. Even moments of tension, of anger, of grief no longer throw you into chaos. They are noticed, felt, and released with intention, like clouds passing over a clear sky. Because of this integration, you can now act with presence. Decisions are no longer hijacked by old wounds or unconscious impulses. You notice the difference immediately. The words you speak are measured, deliberate, authentic. You pause before reacting, sensing the shadow's voice, acknowledging it, and choosing how to respond. Relationships transform because you are no longer projecting fears or seeking validation. The conversations you have are real, the connections genuine. Even in conflict, there is clarity. You know what you stand for, what you will tolerate, and where compassion begins and ends. The world no longer drags you. You step into it as a conscious participant. Choices are empowered by understanding, not dictated by reactive patterns or illusions. Each deliberate action is a declaration that you are the author of your life, that chaos may exist, but it no longer owns you. And finally, you see a life beyond the illusions that once bound you. Imagine walking through a city at dawn, the streets quiet, the lights soft, the air crisp. You move with ease, aware of every step, every sound, every interaction. Your mind is no longer cluttered with the noise of unprocessed fears or unacknowledged shadows. Freedom is tangible, not the temporary relief of distraction or validation, but the enduring strength of authenticity. You are connected, yet independent, compassionate, yet self-assured. Challenges arise, but they no longer terrify you. They are opportunities to practice awareness, courage, and presence. The life you once imagined in fleeting daydreams, peaceful, intentional, real, is now within reach. You realize that mastery is not perfection. It is conscious participation. It is choosing clarity over confusion, presence over reaction, understanding over denial. You have seen the shadow, embraced it, and allowed it to teach rather than control. And in doing so, you have unlocked the capacity to live fully, deliberately, and with unwavering hope. You have met the darkness, and now you choose light. You are whole, awake, and free.